Patterson University Television.
Welcome back to the desk. It's been 2 weeks since the NBA season has started, and they are off to a sizzling start. Here to break down everything with the NBA, we have Nijee, Phritz, Anthony, and Andrew. You know, Phritz, I'll start off with you. The Brooklyn Nets, one of our local teams, are off to a 2-6 start. This is a team with championship aspirations, and they are far from it. What have you seen from this team? They already fired Steve Nash. What's going on?
Yeah, I think Sean Marks has to be responsible for this mess. I mean, when you look back at 2019, he inherited a team that was in a very bad state, after the Boston Celtics trade. They had a good culture, and he spent the last 2 years completely dismantling that. He's allowed players to run the locker room with their egos, and Kevin Durant needs to be that superstar leader and step up. We know he loves to hoop, he loves to ball, and every time someone asks him a question, that's all he seems to care about, but he needs to take accountability and leadership and steer that team in the right direction.
The front office has put this team together. They're 2-6. Obviously, the stars have influence, but Sean Marks definitely has to be held at least a little bit accountable. Andrew, who's to blame? Who's got at least some partial blame?
It's got to be Kyrie Irving. I mean, when he's on the court, he's great. He's one of the best point guards, one of the best players in the league. But off the court, he's constantly getting himself in trouble. He just did it again. Now he's suspended for at least 5 games from the Nets. All right. And then on Tuesday against the Bulls, he shoots 2 for 12, only has 4 points the whole game. And I think now it's at the point now where the Nets they have to look at, maybe we should trade him, maybe we should move on from him. It already looks like he's going to be moving on at the end of the season. He's talking about how much he wants to go play for the Lakers. So I think it's just time for the Nets to just call it quits on Kyrie.
Kyrie's tenure in Brooklyn has been underwhelming, to say the least. Nijee, why are the Nets struggling so much?
Man, it's simple. I'm gonna say for my boy Justice. It's Ben Simmons. Or her last season, all throughout the postseason. If you have Ben Simmons, the defense is gonna be there. Since the season started, it's been whoever offense on Ben Simmons. Every time Ben Simmons goes on somebody, it's an easy 35 points. It's an easy 40. And he's not even taking those shots. He averaging 7 assists, but he averaging 6 points. He averaging 6 rebounds. He not doing nothing that we need him to do for the Nets.
I'm going to come into the defense of Ben Simmons a little bit. He's not there to score. That's KD and Kyrie's job, and he hasn't played in over a year, so I'll give him a little bit more time.
He's the third option.
A little bit more time. I would hope so. He's with Kyrie and KD. Anthony, what is your problem for the Nets?
Jimmy, we're in lockstep, but the defense has been bad, as Nijee was saying. I mean, the defense is allowing almost 190 points per game. That's not going to fly, and they got Ben Simmons to help with that, and he hasn't. But however, what I will say, everyone's just got to take a chill pill. Everyone's got to relax. The Nets are going to be fine. They're 2-6 right now. I get it, but listen. We all know what's going on with Kyrie, but KD's there. Joe Harris is rounding back into form. Patty Mills is rounding back into form. They're going to get TJ Warren back. Ben Simmons hasn't played in over a year. Nijee's probably dancing on the grave right now of the Brooklyn Nets.
But we said that last season, and what happened in the playoffs?
What do you mean?
Boston took them out.
Ben Simmons didn't exist.
Yeah, but we were saying...
We didn't. They did. Also, the Nets didn't have TJ Warren.
What had TJ Warren did in the past 5 years?
What do you mean?
Besides the bubble.
50 burger in the bubble. I mean, he was good in the bubble.
The bubble.
So the second I bring up the bubble, everyone's like, the second I say the Lakers have a Mickey Mouse championship, everyone's like, oh, you can't discount the bubble. And now I bring up TJ Warren playing the bubble, and you're like, oh, it's the bubble. It's the bubble.
He had like 5 good games in the bubble.
You're going to discount what he did?
He had 5 good games in the bubble.
It's ridiculous. I mean, also, you're just going to wipe under a team led by Kyrie. You're just going to say, forget about him. Or not Kyrie. Like Kevin Durant, you're just going to say, forget about that.
Like Kevin Durant have never proved that he could lead a team.
What are you talking about?
He makes a very good point. When is KD won on his own?
I mean, you're acting like, I'm not saying they're going to win a championship, but you're acting like they suck.
I'm not saying they suck, but their defense suck.
There are numerous teams in the NBA that have gotten off to a bit of sucky starts, to use your guys' verbiage. Anthony, besides the Nets, who's your team that's been a disappointment?
Lakers. As LeBron said, they can't shoot a penny in the ocean right now. And that's true. I mean, they're shooting only 43% from the field, and they're shooting 35% from 3. That's got to go up. But they have actually had some success since moving Russell Westbrook to the bench. So maybe they got to move around with that a little more. They got to play around with that. And there's always controversy with Russ. There's always something going on with him. I think the Lakers will eventually bounce back. Right now they've won 2 in a row, but right now they do not look very good.
The Lakers have not really recuperated since their struggle from last season. Phritz, I'll throw it over to you. Who is your disappointment so far?
Yeah, it has to be the reigning champions, the Golden State Warriors. I had them going back-to-back this year. I thought it would be a cakewalk, pretty easy, but they stumbled out to a 3-6 start. Have questionable losses against the Hornets and the Pistons. It's going to have to be on Jordan Poole, Kuminga, and Andrew Wiggins if this team is going to go far this year. Klay Thompson is slipping. Draymond Green isn't an offensive threat, and you can't rely on them as much because they're slipping. It's time for this young core to prove that they're there for a reason, and they're going to lead this Warrior team.
Yeah, no, the Warriors definitely a lot of off-season drama. I don't know how much that's attributed to their struggles to this point in the season. Andrew, who you got?
I'm going to go with the Los Angeles Clippers, and they're not off to a bad start, an awful start. They're 4-4 right now, but they're sitting 11th in the Western Conference, and Kawhi Leonard's only played 2 games. We haven't seen Kawhi play a game in 2 years, and now he's played 2 games, and he's averaged less than 13 points from the field, and he's shooting 16% from 3. So the team's underperforming all around, top to bottom. Paul George is averaging 22, but he'll either put up 40 points or 10 points. There's really nothing else. And the whole team's just shooting 30% from 3 the whole season, so they're not much better than the Lakers.
Yeah, no, Kawhi Leonard, San Diego State graduate. I think he's got a doctorate in load management. Nijee, who is your disappointment team?
Honestly, I'm going Miami Heat. Right now, they 4-5, but they should be better than that. They knife in the East, and the reason why I say that, they offense, they half-court offense is real lackluster, very slow, and very no nuances. And Kyle Lowry, 13 points. You the starting point guard. We need you to do more. You're the second option too.
Yeah, no, the Heat definitely looking to get back. Always a lot of talent. Always got that competitive nature. That's Heat culture. Andrew, with some disappointment teams, there are also a lot of teams have some promise, and I'm talking about promise with rookies. What rookie standout has really been on your eye?
It's really easy, man. It's Paolo Banchero. We'll take a look at his stats, but he's been phenomenal so far. Averaging 22 points a game, almost 8 boards, almost 4 assists, shooting 44% from the field, and he's averaging a block a game. He's easily looked like the best rookie in this draft, and nobody else was anywhere close to NBA ready like him. He already had one of the best dunks of the season in his first game, and he scored 20 points in all of his first 6 games. And a crazy stat I got for you. He's the third rookie ever to put up 25, 5, and 5 in their first game. The other 2, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and LeBron James.
That is definitely good company to be in. Duke product representing in the NBA once again. You know, Nijee, who is your rookie that's really caught your attention?
I'm going with somebody who came under the radar out of the draft, and that's Bennedict Mathurin. Looking at the stats, he averaging 20 points per game, 4 rebounds per game, 2 assists. But the real thing is, it hit 3-point percentage at 42%. That's above average 3-point shooting, and that's from a play that nobody saw coming. No, you didn't hear his name. No, he ain't have the confidence to show. It. Like I said, he the one come out saying like, "Yeah, show him the ball. I show why he the best in the NBA."
Anthony?
I'm going to represent our friend Emmanuel on the desk. Houston Rockets, Jabari Smith. He's averaging 11 points per game and 6 rebounds. He's been killing it for the Rockets. He's almost money from the line shooting. He's shooting 89% from the charity stripe. He's averaging over a block per game, almost an assist per game, and 6 rebounds per game. He's going to be a stalwart for the Houston Rockets for a very, very long time.
Yeah, the Rockets definitely come with some hard times since James Harden's departure. He's going to be a big part of that rebuild. Fritz, who's your rookie?
Got to take it to the Motor City. Jaden Ivey out of Purdue. You know, the Pistons had one of the best drafts of all of the NBA last year, being able to pair him and Jalen Duren with Cade Cunningham. He's going to be a very great addition to the Pistons, and that backcourt of him and Cade Cunningham are going to be very explosive for years to come.
Yeah, no, definitely going to be a young up-and-coming talent. And, you know, something that's always fun is lists. And you guys had a lot of arguing earlier on in this block, so maybe a little bit more to come. We'll see. But ESPN released their power rankings of NBA teams at this point in their season. Nijee, what do you think of these rankings?
Yeah, if you go to the rankings right now, number 1 is the Bucks, clearly. Number 2 are the Suns, and the Cavs number 3. And we're going to end up with the Celtics and the Blazers. Honestly, for me, I'm surprised seeing the Cavs number 3. I thought they were going to be a middle of the team, just getting started to the season. But the Cavs number 3, that's my surprise team on this list, honestly.
Andrew?
Yeah, I got to agree. The Cavaliers sitting at 3 is very surprising. But right off that list, number 6 is the New Orleans Pelicans. I don't think any of us expected that. I know I didn't expect them to have a better start than the Nets, the Lakers, the Clippers, the Warriors. They've looked great, man. Zion looks great in his return. Herb Jones went down, and a guy named Nijee Marshall, like my guy, came out. He balled out in a couple of games, averaging over 18 points a game, shooting almost 60% from the field. He shot over 50% from 3 in those games. These Pelicans are really good. They're very deep. I think they're going to be a really good team this year. Very
young, too. They have that in common with the Cavaliers. Anthony, what are your thoughts on these rankings?
I'm really impressed with the Trailblazers. You know, you look at Portland and you look at how they're carried by Dame Lillard, but Anthony Simons has really stepped up for them. He's led them to a 5-1 record. The Portland always seems to be in it. They never seem to be that top team, but they always seem to be in it, and they always seem to be a really good contender year in, year out.
You know, Damian Lillard not healthy a lot last season. He's been a big part of their success early on in the season. Fritz, close us out. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I also have a team that's not on the graphic, but the Utah Jazz. During the offseason, after trading Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert, I think a lot of Jazz fans were expecting this to be a rebuild year, you know, tank for Wemby, but they surprised a lot of people coming out 6-3 with a lot of promising wins against some heavyweights in the West. I don't know how long this is going to last. We do have an 82-game season, but it is a really great and impressive start to the season.
Yeah, no, don't underestimate. There's still 60-something games left. Teams can still tank for Victor Wembanyama. Going to be a lot of times to see teams go up and down. But as we go up and down with the NBA Power Rankings, stay with us as we go from the hardwood to the gridiron with Mark and the NFL crew, only here on WPTV.